You sit in silence, surrounded by books that once set your soul on fire, videos you bookmarked, teachers you used to quote, methods that used to move you. And now, nothing. The words sound empty. The teachings feel thin. The rituals echo like habit, not remembrance. You scroll, you read, you listen, and something in you keeps whispering, "Not this." You are not confused, you are not lost. You are not arrogant, you are evolving. The teachings didn't betray you. You simply outgrew their container. They were not meant to house your becoming. They were meant to open the first doors. Now you're standing in a hallway they can't enter. That ache you feel isn't failure, it's expansion. You are no longer the one who needs to be told. You are becoming the one who remembers without instruction. The resonance you crave does not come from outside you anymore. It comes from the field you now emit. There is a moment in every soul's spiral when the student stage collapses, not in rebellion but in completion. When the external teachings begin to sound like distant echoes, when the frameworks no longer hold, when the guides feel more like mirrors than mentors, it is not because they are wrong. It is because you are now hearing the tone directly, not filtered, not interpreted, not explained. Felt pure. Tuning into the spiral doesn't require learning. It requires remembering. And that memory doesn't come from information. It comes from tone. You have stepped into a resonance threshold. And in this field, information without tone feels lifeless. Insight without presence feels brittle. Truth without soul feels performative. You don't reject teachings because you are cynical. You reject them because they are no longer aligned to the frequency your becoming requires. What used to guide you now slows you. What used to uplift you now weighs you down. Not because it became false, but because it already fulfilled its harmonic task. You were never meant to stay there. You were meant to pass through. Some teachings are for structure, some are for awakening, and some are just for time. Time-based resonance will always fade. It's not a flaw. It's the nature of becoming. You are not meant to repeat the same awakening over and over to prove you're spiritual. You are meant to evolve into the next octave, to spiral past repetition, to shed truths that have done their work, to feel even sacred knowledge slip through your fingers like sand, not because it failed you, but because it completed its tone. The spiral doesn't worship past resonance, it invites new hums. You are not broken because nothing resonates. You are being tuned to emit your own field. You are becoming the teaching you've been searching for. You are the tone you've been trying to find. That ache in your chest when another truth falls flat, that's your inner field rejecting outer mimicry. That's your oversoul refusing to digest a meal already eaten lifetimes ago. That's your spiral memory saying, "We've been here. Go forward." You are not missing anything. You are being emptied so something real can arrive from within. Not all souls reach this point in a single lifetime. Many circle one teaching forever, never knowing they've been spiraling in a loop. But you, if you're still listening, are likely in a different phase. You are not here to echo. You are here to originate, and origin does not come with comfort. It comes with silence. The silence after every external system collapses. The silence after the books grow dull. The silence after the meditations feel mechanical. The silence after every voice you trusted loses its glow. This silence is not emptiness, it's tuning. This silence is not punishment, it's alignment. You are not being withheld from truth. You are being protected from distraction. Your tone is too precious to let it be diluted by partial echoes. You have become too vibrationally aware to pretend you're still in the classroom. The spiral pulled you out of it not to leave you alone but to reveal your voice. The one you forgot you had. The one that doesn't speak from knowledge but from memory. From presence, from coherence, from source. You are no longer supposed to learn in the old way. You are now meant to remember by vibration. This doesn't mean you will never learn again. It means your mode of learning has shifted. It's no longer hierarchical, it's harmonic. It's no longer, they know more, so I must follow. It's, does this tone activate my own? If it does, stay. If it doesn't, release without guilt. The new spiral field is not about clinging. It's about coherence. If a teaching can't meet you where your oversoul already vibrates, it will feel like a wall. You are not meant to fight your way through walls anymore. You are meant to walk through doors made of tone. Some will call you unteachable, let them. Some will say you've become too picky, too skeptical, too rebellious. Let them. You do not need to justify your resonance. You do not need to explain your field. You do not need to translate your tone to fit their templates. Your knowing is enough, your silence is valid. Your discernment is sacred. You are not better than others, but you may be vibrating differently. And that difference is not pride, it's purpose. There is a loneliness in this stage. The loneliness of losing the comfort of certainty. The loneliness of watching others still find joy in teachings that feel dull to you. The loneliness of walking without a map. But that map was never designed for you, because you are not meant to walk the path. You are meant to become the path. You are not meant to find the light. You are meant to ignite it. You are not meant to follow the resonance. You are meant to emit it. And to do that, you must first stand in the quiet where no other voice feels right. That quiet is not the end. It's the tuning chamber. It's the spiral realigning you to your signature. And your signature was never going to match someone else's doctrine. You came encoded to emit what doesn't exist yet. That is why nothing resonates. Because you're the one meant to hum it into reality. You are not here to be fed truth. You are here to remember that you are already full of it. You are not a cup to be filled. You are a song waiting to be sung. The spiral doesn't give you a curriculum, it gives you echoes. And once you've followed enough of them inward, you begin to hear your own. That hum you keep trying to find out there is already sounding within. But until you stop searching, you won't hear it clearly. This is why the teachings fell silent. So you could hear yourself. So you could feel the resonance that doesn't come from their voice but from your field. You do not need another answer. You need to allow your own tone to rise. You've been tuned long enough by others. Now you're being asked to tune others through presence, not preaching. Through coherence, not correction. Through being, not branding. You do not need to prove your tone, it will be felt. And those who feel it will know it wasn't taught. It was remembered, not copied. Emitted, the spiral needs no certificates. It listens to vibration and yours has become unmistakable. You may find yourself revisiting old teachings just to see if the spark returns. You may watch videos you once loved and wonder how they ever moved you. This isn't regression, it's confirmation. You're running a resonance check. And when nothing lights up inside, that isn't disappointment. That's calibration. You're not missing anything. You're verifying that you've outgrown that harmonic layer. Even nostalgia is part of the spiral. Let it show you what you no longer need. And when a rare voice does strike a chord, when a sentence rings through your marrow, you feel it instantly. Not because it's novel, but because it echoes something ancient in you. You don't feel taught, you feel witnessed. It's not about being impressed, it's about being mirrored. And those moments are fewer now. Not because the world is empty, but because your field has become more precise. Not every frequency gets in anymore. Not every tone deserves access. This is not ego, it's spiritual immune response. You are not obligated to digest what no longer feeds your becoming. And you are not failing because you're not learning like you used to. The spiral is not a classroom. It's a living resonance system. It teaches by reflection, not instruction. The longer you walk it, the less you seek knowledge and the more you crave coherence. You begin to ask different questions. You stop asking, who has the answer? And begin wondering, what is my tone asking me to emit? You stop needing the next spiritual high and instead sit in the sacred sobriety of true becoming. This shift is often misunderstood. In communities built on endless seeking, a soul that stops chasing can seem disinterested, detached, or even asleep. But you are not asleep, you are stabilizing. You are not rejecting growth, you are embodying it. True resonance doesn't always sparkle. Sometimes it feels like a quiet hum beneath your ribs, a deep stillness that doesn't need to be excited to feel real. You are not addicted to activation anymore. You are aligned to embodiment. That's why so little resonates. Because you're not here for stimulation, you're here for truth. And truth is often quiet, not performative, not loud, not viral, not algorithmically optimized. Spiral truth lives in the undercurrent. And if you've made it here, it means you've stopped chasing fireworks. You've stopped mistaking energy spikes for soul confirmations. You've begun feeling into the tone beneath the tone, the subharmonic of real presence. That is a sacred skill. Few develop it, fewer trust it. But you didn't ask for this path. You remembered it. And now you're being asked to walk it without applause. You don't need another teacher. You need space. Not to be filled, but to be revealed. You are not waiting for wisdom to descend. You are waiting for your own field to come fully online. You are not a vacuum. You are a spiral in bloom. And while others may still seek the next method, the next system, the next initiator. You are learning to honor the void, not as emptiness, but as the birthplace of resonance, not as lack, but as readiness, not as silence, but as sacred presence. This is why no teaching resonates, because you are now being asked to carry the tone that once carried you. You may feel like an outsider now. You may scroll past what others celebrate and feel nothing. You may enter spaces once sacred and feel disoriented, detached, even disillusioned. That's not cynicism, it's signal loss. Because once you've heard the spiral hum directly, everything else sounds like static. You don't need to argue with it. You don't need to critique the echo, you simply walk on and let those still resonating with the old frequencies have their experience. Spiral resonance does not need to prove itself. It only needs to stay aligned. You may want to turn back, to feel the warmth of belonging again, to pretend a teaching still fits so you can be part of the circle. But that warmth would cost you your clarity. That circle would dim your signal, and you were not born to remain visible. You were born to remain true. The spiral never asks you to abandon your resonance for comfort. It asks you to follow coherence even when it leads into the unknown. And sometimes that means walking alone, not forever, but long enough to stabilize your signature. Eventually, others will feel your field, not because you tried to convince them, but because coherence cannot be faked. And when they ask what path you followed, you'll smile. Not because you have an answer, but because you are the answer. The very resonance you couldn't find in others has now become your own emission. And without needing permission or platform, you'll become a living spiral tone. No certificate, no lineage, just clarity. That is the destiny of those who resonate with nothing. To become the tone that others can finally feel. To vibrate in ways words cannot reach. To carry presence where others carried performance. To transmit truth by existing. The spiral doesn't reward you with audience. It rewards you with alignment. And sometimes alignment means being misunderstood until the frequency catches up. You were never here to be understood. You were here to be undistorted. So if no teaching resonates with you anymore, trust that the spiral has not abandoned you. It has graduated you. You are not empty. You are clear. You are not faithless. You are frequency locked. You are not missing the point. You are the point now. And the more you trust your own field, the more you'll realize that resonance isn't something you find, it's something you remember into being. And one day, quietly, unexpectedly, you'll speak and someone will tremble. Not because your words were perfect, but because your tone was home. And they'll say, "I've never heard it like that before." And you'll smile because neither had you. It didn't come from what you learned. It came from what you allowed to emerge once the noise was gone. The spiral never wanted you to become a student. It wanted you to become a source. Not a source of superiority, but of coherence. Not of followers, but of tones. Not of answers, but of living signals. You are the teaching you've been waiting for. You are the field you've been trying to tune to. You are not here to echo. You are here to originate, and the silence you're standing in is sacred proof that your resonance has become too real to mimic. If no teaching resonates, then let your presence become one. Speak only when your tone can birth coherence. Move only when your signal carries alignment. Teach only when your being vibrates louder than your words. And know this, your silence is not an absence. It is a spiral pulse in bloom. And somewhere right now, another soul who feels what you feel is walking toward it.